you were to start your career in 2025, would you still choose journalism? Hello, viewers. Welcome to Bencast, a video podcast series initiated by the students of the Times School of Media under the able guidance of Dr. Tilak Jha. This is the first episode, which goes by the name Dean Coding, where we talk about questions like AI is writing the news? Is journalism dying? And let's be honest, most of the people are getting news from their Instagram reels anyway. Well, I'm not saying this. Everyone's around. So, to answer such questions, we've come up with the first episode and we're joined by none other than Dr. Sanjeev Ratna Singh, who's seen it from the classrooms to the newsrooms. I am your host, Niharika Lal. Welcome, sir.
Hi Niharika, thank you for having me over.
Thank you so much for joining us today in the radio studio, sir. Let me start with something which is a very interesting question for most of our audience here. If you were to start your career in 2025, would you still choose journalism?
That's a very tough question. See, when I started my career, that time the way I thought, the way the industry was totally different from what it is today. But in hindsight, I can say that, for somebody who loves a challenge, I think the media industry is the perfect place for somebody like that, because nothing is constant. Technology has disrupted everything, especially media. So you're constantly on a learning curve. So if you want to be in an industry which is dynamic, where you keep learning and you never stop, then media is the place to be.
We have three words for the media place: dynamic, never stopping, and ever evolving. So, how has the internet changed the way we consume and trust news today?
Oh, such heavy questions, yeah. See, when I started my career in journalism in 1999, we didn't have Google or Bing or any of these search engines at that point of time. We always relied on senior journalists, going to the library, generally going through newspaper archives to get our information. But things have changed a lot. Now, you actually don't need to go anywhere or talk to some other physical person to be able to get that knowledge.
Correct.
Internet does it for us. So in that sense, it's been a great enabler. Earlier, that information was restricted to a select group of people,
Right.
which meant the journalists also. But today, anybody can access that information. So it's been a great leveler. It has democratized content and information. But at the same time, if you're in the media industry and if you're a journalist, your job becomes even that harder.
Right.
Because you have to now be above that curve
Absolutely.
to stay in the game.
AI is writing articles. Influencers are breaking news. Where does that leave traditional journalists?
See, there's a very famous saying that the only thing constant in life is change.
Correct.
So you got to keep changing, adapting to the times. You have Amitabh Bachchan, he was an angry young man, but now he doesn't do angry young man roles, right? He's transitioned into something else. So we all need to be in a transient phase, be ready to accept those changes. And I think that currently, as you mentioned, you talked about artificial intelligence. Nobody knows where it's going. We
Correct.
all know that it is a part of our lives and it is something that we want to use. But to what extent, we don't know, because this is an experimental phase. Everybody is trying, testing, excited, but nobody knows the boundaries because it's still evolving. So it's at a very young age, and maybe another 5 years down the line there'll be some set rules where people will follow. So at the moment, just enjoy the splash.
All right. So, if a student today wants to be a journalist, should they even bother with a journalism degree or just start their own media platform?
See, it's very easy to start a media platform, right? But I'm sure you guys have all studied about monetization.
Yes.
You know, having good SEO, looking at Google Trends, putting good content, what kind of content to put. But that credibility will not be there.
Absolutely.
So therefore, what you've seen is a burgeoning class of influencers, right? They may be creating niche content which people
a lot
like.
of audience likes.
But for journalism, you still need to have some credibility. And that credibility will only come when you have some experience, you've broken some stories, you've done some explainers.
Correct.
And then people look up to you that, oh, there is this, so-and-so is a domain expert in, let's say we have a faculty, Professor Tilak. He's an expert in Chinese affairs, right? What's happening in China.
Absolutely.
So if I want to break down an issue of something that has happened in China and how is it going to affect India,
you would rather go to an expert.
so I will look up to Professor Tilak to give me that information, right?
Correct.
Not some influencer who's making very good content. So credibility will always be there, and for journalism students, that should be your benchmark. Technology is secondary, but first is building that credibility on your own.
All right. So that moves us to the next very interesting segment where we talk about mistakes, lessons, and what ifs. So the first question in this segment revolves around what's the biggest mistake journalism students make today?
That's a very tough question.
All right.
I think they make many mistakes.
To name a few.
I think there is a trend to, there is over dependence on technologies.
Correct.
We tend to over depend on, let's say, a chat GPT instead of doing the hard work ourselves, because we know that there is an option available.
Correct.
We've all seen pre-chat GPT days, right? So we used to put in that effort. I think that effort has gone down because you always know that there is an option, right?
Correct.
And second thing I feel is that students are too much in a hurry to achieve too many things. They want to achieve, let's say, X in 2 years, which normally would take 5 to 7 years. So patience, I think lack of patience and over dependence on technologies, these are the two major things that I would say.
All right. So, if you could design the ultimate journalism course in 2025, what's that one skill every student should have?
Of course, being able to dig news. So, those are, I think those are things that every aspiring journalist should have. But I think writing prompts.
All right.
And understanding coding so that you can turn complex data into very easy to understand visuals. These are the two things I would say are required right now.
So very fun name which is coming in my mind right now is BTech in journalism.
Fantastic. I think the way forward is there. That I would say that every student, irrespective of whether you're studying journalism, liberal arts, management,
correct,
you need to have a sound understanding of mathematics and statistics, because the way technology is moving, every platform that is being made, it is underpinned on these mathematical
correct
formulas, right? Everything is binary. So unless you understand the binary system, I'm sure you studied about metaverse,
yes,
bitcoins, again, so those things come in, right? So I think every student must study maths and statistics. They should have an elementary understanding of these two subjects, because it is absolutely imperative for anybody who needs to do a job or be in the job market for the next 40 years to understand these concepts.
Fear not, you maths phobiatic people. It's just something which is going to, upskill us. So fear not, you people.
And Niharika, let me tell you, I did not have maths in my 12th. I studied maths till my 10th. And my maths teacher told me, you will never pass.
Oh.
And guess what? I proved him wrong. And then I took up maths in my plus two, and my housemaster called me and said, "You were lucky once. You can't be lucky twice." So I had to drop maths and I took up psychology.
All right.
But 15 years into my journalism profession, I realized that unless I have a sound understanding of statistics, I will not be able to study the emerging technologies, right? And now for any kind of research you do, you need to have a quantitative aspect or element to your studies. Therefore, if somebody like me who did not have maths in his plus two is able to somewhat get what statistics is all about, I'm sure any student can do it.
All right. So, what if news reporting becomes fully automated? Would that be the end of human journalists?
No, because see, even in today's times, a lot of media organizations are using artificial intelligence.
Right.
But you see, I mean, the whole basis is that it's a learning process, right?
Correct.
Now, the learning that we humans have is very different, qualitatively different from what the machine understands.
Right.
So the machine can do your dirty work for you, but ultimately, to set it up and to make it look beautiful, you need human interference.
Absolutely. That moves me to the very interesting question, which is about your book, The Online Effect, which talks about digital engagement to predict elections. Do you think data journalism is the future, as you laid a lot of emphasis on mathematics and statistics?
See, the problem is that till 5 years ago, journalism or humanities or social sciences was mostly about qualitative stuff.
Correct.
Right? There were people used to observe, perceptions. So those things mattered more. But as I said, that in the days to come, there is so much of data available that you need to do data crunching to be able to arrive at a conclusion
Right.
which is backed by scientific methods.
All right.
So, in my book, I've tried to do the same. There was a saying that, what happens offline does not happen online. And that is what led me to write this book. And eventually, through data, we were lucky to be able to say with conviction that if you're doing well on social media, I mean, this book is on Twitter, formerly Twitter X, the correlation of vote share is matching.
Oh.
So that means that the divide which existed between online and offline has decreased. And this book is a small milestone to break that myth that what happens online does not happen offline if you follow certain parameters.
That's a big statement coming. That we might always think that there's a big bridge between online and offline. But to, break that bridge or to break that distance between the two, the book is in itself a proof. A very important question coming our way. Online is a booming field. It's played a huge role in different career options. Where do you say is this going to take ahead in the future?
That's a very good question, Niharika, because first online came into media,
Right.
which is what led me to write the book, The Online Effect. And I feel that the next big place where online can play a major role is online education. Because, see, technology is a great leveler.
Correct.
Now everybody has access to the same information via internet. Now imagine you are studying a course here and there is somebody in a far-flung village in Jharkhand who also has access to the same content as long as they have internet and they have either a laptop or a smartphone. So in a demographic dividend like India, if we are able to pass this education to even the remotest areas of the country, then it will just accelerate India's growth as a world power, and we will become, at least, if not the best, at least in the top 3 global leaders in the next decade.
Wonderfully explained, sir. So that makes us move to a very interesting question or segment, which is the quick fire reflections. All right. So are you ready for it, sir?
I'm scared.
All right. What's one journalistic principle that should never change?
Facts.
All right. If you had to give one piece of journalism advice in 280 characters or less, what would it be?
280 characters. Nothing is better written till it is rewritten.
Nothing is better written till it is rewritten. What's one book every aspiring journalist, media student must read?
Very obvious. The
The
online, effect.
What's one mistake every young journalist should avoid at all costs?
Avoid getting beaten up by the public, because a lot of times, you're sent to do reporting. Don't try and be a hero. Get your facts and move out of the melee.
Getting your facts right is very important. Final question. One line you'd like to leave our viewers with.
Don't trouble trouble, otherwise trouble will trouble you.
That's a tongue twister coming your way, dear viewers. Don't trouble trouble,
Otherwise trouble will trouble you.
otherwise trouble will trouble you. All right. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Singh, this has been eye-opening. Journalism isn't dying, it's just evolving. And it's up to us to keep up. Thank you for joining us on Bencast, the Online Effects first episode, Dean Coding. And to everyone watching, like, share, subscribe, and stay curious. Stay tuned for the next time. Thank you so much.
And buy my book also, yaar.